these motherfuckers in the media really fucking disgust me to the fucking. They make my balls ache, man. That's how much they fucking disgust me so much, man. Look, now all of a sudden, these motherfuckers singing Kyrie Irving's praises, right? Singing his praises. Talking about how much him winning the ring is gonna shut the haters up and all this. Like they won't hating on his ass 6 weeks ago. Like all these motherfuckers on TV won't hating on him 5, 6 weeks ago. But you know what it is, right? Now all of a sudden they're starting to migrate over to the Nets because they think now that they a stacked group again, pretty much. And when they get Joe Harris back, really, really stacked, they want the Nets to beat the Bucks to correct what they think is a blemish or what is an anomaly, something that should have never happened, which is Giannis' title. See, they don't really respect that shit. They don't respect a small market team winning a title that wasn't planned to have won. That fucks up their media marketing machine. They want Nets and Lakers. So right on cue, Kendrick Perkins, the same fucking dude that said, didn't he say that if you put Kyrie's brain in a bird, it'd fly backwards? Didn't he say that? Hasn't he said a whole bunch of other disparaging things about him? Didn't Swagoo, the football player who all of a sudden is a basketball expert, say that, said a whole bunch of negative shit about Kyrie and how he's not a role model and morally he's all this, and that, amoral and not a leader and all this shit. Now all of a sudden he, is the most skilled player. He's one of the most skilled. I wish they make their minds about that shit. I've heard over the past 20 years, when they say most skilled, I've heard Michael Jordan pop up. I've heard John Stockton pop up. I've heard Chris Paul name pop up. Most skilled. Tim Duncan, Kobe. Now all of a sudden, because Kobe wasn't a great three-point shooter, now he wasn't as skilled. Anthony Davis. It's always a new guy that's the most skilled player in the league. But anyway, this is how I feel about this. I respect Kyrie Irving. I respect what he did. Okay, he said what he said and he meant it. But just like how this title, if they win a title, the shit not going to really count that much for KD and not count that much for James Harden. The same thing is true for Kyrie Irving. Ain't no exceptions made for him. He agreed to come over there. He agreed for James Harden to come there. They stacked the deck. Okay. Uh, at the end of the day, this title don't mean that much. If they do win full throttle, to me that shit don't count much at all. Now, the championship that Kyrie Irving won 5 going on 6 years ago with Cleveland, the one they're trying to minimize his impact on, that one counts a lot. He hit the biggest shot in the history of the Cleveland Cavaliers. I think the biggest shot in Cleveland sports history. But you know something that's interesting? You notice how they no longer call Brooklyn a super team? You notice that? You notice they stopped doing that? I'm gonna tell you why they stopped doing that. See, you gotta peep these motherfuckers out. Last year they kept calling Brooklyn a super team, right? Remember Stephen A. Smith said, "Well, they don't even have to have Kyrie. These boys can still win a title. That's how stacked they are, right?" They kept saying that in the event because when LeBron does it, they never mention it. But they kept talking about how stacked the deck was, how the deck was stacked with Brooklyn in the event that the Lakers play the Nets in the finals, which is what they want, by the way. They want that. In the event that the Lakers play the Nets and the Lakers beat them, then they can say LeBron beat the most stacked team in NBA history. But since the Bucks beat them, they don't want the Bucks or Giannis to have that type of bragging rights. You know what I'm saying? So now, if the Nets beat the Bucks, now it's just a regular thing. Remember how when I'm gonna tell you when they started doing that shit. And this is how you tell the media was biased. All throughout the regular season last year, right? All throughout the regular season and the first round of playoffs, the Nets were this stacked juggernaut. But once they lost one player, all of a sudden the media made it out that Kevin Durant was somehow David against Goliath. Now all of a sudden he was David against Goliath, right? But you never heard them do that those two games when the Bucks were able to beat Atlanta when the Bucks didn't have Giannis. No one used the David and Goliath, metaphor with them. So I'm telling you, man, the media have it out for these small market stars, man. They don't want them to be getting shine. They don't want the Giannis's getting the shine. Even though Chicago is technically a large market, they don't want a small market name like DeMar DeRozan being representative of the league. They want the James Hardens and the Joel Embiids and the established stars. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, nope. If the Brooklyn Nets win the title, that shit don't mean shit to me because they still a stacked team. I'm sorry, they're still a stacked team to me. And like I said, this ain't nothing to do with the decision. I mean, this ain't got nothing to do with the other situation. I support Kyrie 100% in that. But this shit right here, nah. And Nets fans don't all of a sudden start puffing your chest out now that he back and y'all start winning games when he's playing and shit. Because it's still a stacked deck. And I don't understand for the life of me. Unless you're a legitimate Nets fan, I don't understand how you even root for this team. I don't understand how you even root for a team that's stacked like this, man. You got to have Kyrie Irving, whose mere presence on the roster corrects all of the other things that are wrong with this team. Because he just is such a great player that it doesn't matter about the other deficiencies. And then you got a nerd to put yeah, Brooklyn. Man, get out of here, man. James Harden ain't shit. Kevin Durant is starting to become a little overrated to me. And Kyrie better than this. He's better than this, man. And I'm gonna tell you something. If they do beat Milwaukee, whoever they play in the finals, shit, this will be the first time in a long time I root for a Western Conference team. I ain't root for a Western Conference team since shit. When last time I rooted for the Western Conference? I gotta think about this one. When last time I rooted for the Western Conference? I don't think I rooted for the Western Conference since I think the Spurs. That's the last time I rooted for Western Conference. But anyway, tell me what you guys think.